big news out of Snap today. The social media giant drawing a line in the sand when it comes to President Trump's posts. Let's get to Julia Boorstin with all the details. Julia.
Well, Melissa, Snap shares dipped, though ended the day pretty much flat after news that the company is no longer promoting the president's content on its Snapchat Discover platform. The company is saying, quote, "We will not amplify voices who incite racial violence and injustice by giving them free promotion on Discover. Racial violence and injustice have no place in our society, and we stand together with all who seek peace, love, equality, and justice in America." The president's account remains public, available for users who search for it or who subscribe to it, but Discover features curated content from trusted news sources. CEO Evan Spiegel earlier this week expressed similar thoughts in a company-wide memo to his employees, saying, quote, "We may continue to allow divisive people to maintain an account on Snapchat as long as the content that is published on Snapchat is consistent with our community guidelines, but we will not promote that account or content in any way." Now, President Trump's campaign manager responding to Snap with a statement saying, quote, "Snapchat is trying to rig the 2020 election." He accuses Snap of promoting former Vice President Biden and suppressing President Trump. We have reached out to Snap for comment on this statement. It is worth noting here that those Snap shares did end flat for the day, but up 20% so far this year. Now, all this news from Snap comes after Twitter decided to put warning labels on some of the president's tweets, while in contrast, Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg chose not to take any action on the president's posts on Facebook, which many could see as inciting violence. That drew a lot of pushback there to Zuckerberg's decision there. Melissa, back over to you.
All right, Julia, thank you. Julia Boorstin. Now, if you at home had the same reaction that I had to this story, I personally thought when I read it, I had no idea that President Trump had a Snapchat account. I mean, I would not have thought. But it's interesting, Guy, because we had been saying all along that Facebook and Twitter, which had been so squarely in the debate over whether or not to flag content, Snap and Pinterest seemed to be winners because people thought they would be on the sidelines. But here we are.
Yeah, I had no idea either, clearly. I mean, I'm not your target audience for Snapchat. I mean, there are a number of reasons to sell Snapchat here, and Steve can speak to it. I don't happen to think this is one of them, but the main reason is the run it's had and the fact that we're right up against the levels we saw on January 22nd, I believe. But I'll say this, they're opening up their app to these third-party developers, and that was, I think, the model that WeChat made. So there's also a very compelling reason to stay with this. If you're asking me to do would you rather buy it or sell it, I'd actually stay with it here. I think there's further upside for Snap.
Self would you rather? I'll go to the king of self would you rather, Steve Grasso. And you actually sold your position in Snap?
I did, and I kind of agree. I was a little on the fence on this one, but for all the reasons Guy just mentioned, so it's up 20% year to date. The RSI Relative Strength Index is flirting with overbought. It is pushing up against that 1975 January high. So those are the negatives. I do think it has the ability to break out, but I don't want to hear a political war for the next couple of months. And President Trump has a pretty big leg to stand on when he's slinging stuff at other companies. I'm actually thinking about buying Facebook with the proceeds because I believe that Facebook has navigated this perfectly so far, standing in the neutral zone. Twitter and Snap are placing their flag in the sand. Facebook is sort of above the fray, or look to be above the fray at this point. But I'm out of the name. I had a good profit in it. I thought it was going to last a little bit longer, and I wish people the best of luck staying in it. It might very well still be breaking out, but I chose to step aside.
So Facebook navigating this perfectly because it is staying on the sidelines largely. Karen Finerman, do you think that we know that for sure, or do you think the jury is still out as to whether or not there will be some blowback of some sort?
Well, I thought there would have been actually more blowback than we've seen so far. So maybe it isn't over. But I, like you, on Snapchat, didn't realize the president had an account. I sort of looked, all right, who are the Snapchat users? 90% of them are aged 13 to 24. So that's probably not his base. And I also can't help but think Evan Spiegel really enjoyed sort of putting Zuckerberg back on the hot seat again, just the day after there was such news about him addressing his employees in the town square. But of the two, I've definitely rather owned Facebook by a lot.
I mean, the Trump campaign manager, part of the response is calling Evan Spiegel, the CEO of Snapchat, radical Snapchat CEO Evan Spiegel. So this is really a strong response, Tim.
Well, it is, and I didn't know the president had a Snapchat account either. I did know that guy had a Pinterest page. So, but saying that Mark Zuckerberg is taking a neutral ground is again, I'm not sure that that's what's going on either. I think there is a tactical approach, but saying if neutral was possible, I think everyone would want to be neutral. But unfortunately, I don't think there is a neutral here. And I think that's kind of how people seem to have to line up.
Yeah, neutral seems to be in the eye of the beholder these days.